about the horses today. They're the biggest creatures we have on the farm, apart from our cows. So we're going to show you Ned and Bindi today, our rescue horses. Hey Neddy, we're going to show you how to groom them, measure them, and we're going to talk a little bit about their stories. So it's 10 o'clock, so we might start. So horses are beautiful creatures, as you can see, but they do take a lot of getting to know. You need to earn their trust, and they spook really easily, so anything can really spook them, even if I kind of raise my hand too quickly or anything like that. So the best thing to do when you're tying up a horse, and I'll get you to come in nice and close here, when you tie up a horse, you want to make sure that it's not tied in a knot that they can't undo if they pull back. Because they do spook, and they'll spook because of a car or a motorbike or anything, you've got to tie them up in a way that they can easily pull off. So I'm going to tie you up, Nettie. So the way I do it is by knotting it like this. And that way he's nice and tight there, but if he does spook, he can pull that out. And all of that will unravel. Or if I know he's upset, I can quickly pull that and he can get away quickly. So, but look, Ned came to us over a year and a half ago now. He was an ex-racehorse and he's a thoroughbred, which means he eats a lot more than Bindi. But he, being an ex-racehorse, had an injury, which meant he couldn't be on the track anymore. And he's got a bit of a hip injury, which means we can only now ride him, just trail ride him through the bush, which is all we really want to do with him. But unwanted racehorses unfortunately end up either becoming dog food, unfortunately, or they become glue, so they use the bones and everything to make glue, which is a pretty awful thing, and they put it in all sorts of things. But this boy gets to live out his years here at Splitters. Bindi over here, his girlfriend, came off a drought-stricken farm in Eidsvold. She's a mare, but she's 16 years old, and Neddy here is 11. So she's a bit of an old girl. We might call her a cougar in a way. She loves him, and she hates being separated from him. Don't you, darling? So we're gonna brush him today. I'll just get my brushes over here. So as I said, anything can spook a horse. So when you're going to do anything to a horse, you want to make sure that they know what you're doing. So I let him smell the brushes and I let him smell me. See, darling? He's like, don't know if I like that one. And then I just start giving him a nice brush. And he likes that, see? Oh, lots of dirt coming off there. Show you under his hoof. Put all those brushes down here. So as I work my way down, I just let him know that I'm going to pick his foot up, and I just lean into him. Come on, Nettie. And that's his hoof there. A little bit different to us. He gets a pedicure every 2 months, because as these hooves grow, they get cracks, and then if they hit a rock or the fence, they can snap off and hurt them. I'll put that foot down there. When you walk behind a horse, you always want to let them know that you're there, because horses, if they kick you, can kill you. So we always want to let him know we're here. We're touching his bum, saying, hey Nettie, I'm back here, don't kick. Give him a nice rub. He knows when you're going to hurt him. So to measure a horse, we measure in a bit different. So you might know there's meters and centimeters. With horses, we measure in hands. And it's an old English way of measuring horses that was actually derived from the ancient Egyptians. But a hand on a horse, or a measurement, is this part here. And what it should do, I've got my tape measure on me, my trusty tape measure, is a hand is the equivalent to 4 inches. So you see that 4 inches there? And that's my hand there. So that part of my hand is 1 hand of a horse. And when we measure a horse, we measure from the ground down here, right up to his withers, which is this highest part here on his neck, or on his back. So if I measure that now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. He's about 18 hands, nearly 18 hands high. So he's a big, big horse. It's a long way to fall. And I have had a few falls in my youth. But this boy here, he picks up on your energy. So they say horses have a sixth sense. If you hear people saying that horses might have a sixth sense, it's because we have our 5 senses, which is sight, touch, sound, taste, and was that 5? And then the 6th sense they think for a horse is to actually know what you're feeling. So they pick up on your energy. So if you're sitting up nice and high on a horse and you're nervous, that makes the horse nervous. So when you're on a horse, you've always got to remain nice and calm because they pick up on that energy. They know when you're scared. It's an incredible thing that they're able to do. So yeah, this is Ned and Bindi. I might give Ned a haircut. He's getting the full treatment today. So you'll notice here he had a rug on a few weeks ago because he was suffering with the mosquitoes. And when we had the rug on him, his rug goes right up his neck. He ended up with dreadlocks, so he was looking a bit like Bob Marley, bit of a crazy horse. And right now he's got split ends. So when we cut a horse's mane, and thanks Sue for teaching me how to do this, we want to brush it out and we want to cut it on an angle, because if we cut it like that, he's going to look a bit dorky. It's like giving him bangs, you know, straight across there. So we just want to cut on an angle this way. And what will happen is all these little bits of hair that go on the grass that we leave in the paddock, the birds will come and pick up that and they'll make their nests out of it. So we cut that way in sort of jagged lines. This is I'm the only hairdresser still working at the moment, unfortunately, for all my poor hairdressing friends out there. And then we go the other way. So we go like that. Good boy, Nettie. Don't know if I'm doing a very good job, but hey, hair grows back, doesn't it, mate? Get rid of all your dead ends. Beautiful. There you go. There we go. And we'll all grow back. So thanks very much for joining us today. But horses are the most beautiful creatures. When you're on horseback, it really does put you at peace. And we love our rescue horses. They are lovely, lovely animals. So thanks, and join us tomorrow. We'll try and bring you tomorrow the new pigs. I know we did pigs last week, but you've got to see our new babies. So we'll see you tomorrow.